Welcome to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Margie Curry, and today's session is with the yoga instructor, Becca Impello. Folks, we want to remind you that AARP is empowering people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization with more than 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate on their behalf, all of them, without regard to politics. When the pandemic began, AARP Alabama decided to continue our healing, healthy living events online. Mindful Movement provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your own home. Hi, Becca. What are we working on today?
Hi, Margie. It's so nice to have you with us today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, today, it's summer, Margie, if you haven't noticed.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got a little more freedom now to travel and do a few things. And summer is a typical travel time anyway. So I thought today we'd do a practice that focuses on the areas of the body that tend to get stiff when we travel, and even some of the stresses related to travel, delays and traffic and all of that stuff. So we're going to work on neck and shoulders, hips and low back, and we're going to use a chair some of the time because, you got to be able to do it wherever you are. And I'm even going to use my wall over here. So if you're practicing with us from home, it's great to have a chair that you're comfortable sitting in. And if you've got a blank wall or the back of a door that you can use just to do a few things during the practice, that will be great too. But hopefully these will be some good movements to help you when you're traveling and you get kind of stiff and stove up.
Oh, very much needed. Remember, before you begin any exercise routine, you should consult with your physician to be sure it's safe to participate. Take it away.
All right. Thanks, Margie. All right. So like I said, we're going to focus on some movements and things that might be helpful when you're out traveling this summer. If you're getting to drive somewhere to see some family that you haven't seen in a while, or perhaps you're even venturing back to the airports. I want to just show you some ways to move your body. The typical places that we get stiff when we're traveling, when we're sitting a lot, are our hips and our lower back, and then our neck and our shoulders, okay? Especially if there's some stress related to travel, which there often is. And of course, our breathing and our mindfulness techniques can help us to manage that stress as well. So go ahead and take a comfortable seat. Now, if you prefer to be standing right now, that would be fine too, because that will apply to what we're doing here to start with. All right, we're gonna start with a couple deep breaths. So just sit up tall or stand up tall, roll those shoulders back and down a little bit, allow your arms to hang down at your sides. Close your eyes if you like. That'll just help you take your awareness inward. And take a nice deep full breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. All right. And then let's just start with some gentle head movements. We're going to start with just turning the head side to side. Now, something that I like to do and I recommend to a lot of folks that I teach and work with is a few simple movements for the head and the shoulders that are really helpful if you've been sitting for a long time or you've been driving for a long time, okay? So here's my 3 key movements to help your upper back and your neck loosen up. We're going to start with shoulder rolls. We're going to bring those shoulders up, back, and down. It's nice even to do this with a breath. Inhale, the shoulders forward and up. And exhale, back and down. Make these slow and big as you're comfortable making that movement. You want those shoulder blades to move around on your upper back. You may get some, kind of crunchy pops and that kind of thing. And as long as they're not painful, there's no problem moving through those creaks and pops. Let's do one more of these shoulder rolls. Stop on a down and back stroke to keep that chest nice and open. And then we'll do neck rolls or head rolls. So chin down towards the chest. And just roll it from shoulder to shoulder. All right, so again, you're moving as far as feels comfortable for your body, no force. and pretty slow. No need to fling the body around. We want to move slow so that the nervous system is soothed and stays calm with your movements. It also gives you more opportunity to change the movement if you're edging towards something that's not so great for your body. All right, so that's our second of the 3 things. We did shoulder rolls, we did head rolls. Now we're going to do our push and pull arms. So sit tall or stand tall, bring the hands up to the heart to start with. And then inhale, pull back. You want to pull those elbows down, pull the shoulder blades down, get that chest to lift, maybe even the chin. And then the push forward. Exhaling here is nice. You push the hands forward, you drop the chin to the chest. All right, so a couple more of these. Inhale, pull, and exhale, push. Inhale, pull, exhale, push. Good, 2 more. All right, good. Now, so those 3 things, if you only had just a minute, 2 minutes to do something, that's a great thing to do to get the circulation going in your upper back, to reset your posture, and just combat the effects of sitting for long periods of time. All right, let's loosen up the body a little bit more. Go ahead and sweep the arms out and up. Once you get up to the top, you can grab a hold of one wrist and gently stretch up and over. Now remember, you could do this standing. So if you prefer to do this in a standing position, or you find yourself somewhere where you can't sit down, you can stretch like this standing. And then bring it back to center and drop the arms down. Take a big breath and bring it back up. Grab hold of that other wrist and stretch it over the other side. A couple deep breaths there. And then bring it back to center and drop the arms down. All right, let's everyone come up to standing now. Now we're going to use this chair for a couple of stretches, things that will help you loosen up your hips and your low back, okay? So I've done this in the airport even, so don't be shy. All right, so we're just gonna come down with our hands on the seat of the chair. If you don't have the chair or you wanna use something a little higher, put your hands down on the table or the countertop, okay? That will work just as well. And this is a nice position to loosen up the low back with a little bit of rounding into cat. And then flattening it out and taking a little bit of an arch. So round and flatten. I'm going to just get as much of the spine involved here as you can. So you're tucking your tail, you maybe even tucking your chin, and then lengthening it all out. Now remember, you can let those knees just be really fluid. If you need to bend them more, bend them. All right, so cat-cow is something we do a lot in yoga. We typically do it down on the floor on hands and knees, but doing this version with a chair is really easy to take with you, okay, and do anywhere. Now, another good one that I like to do in this same position for the hips are some hip circles. Those hips, at least mine, get real cranky and stiff when I sit in the car for a long time. So take the hips and move them to one side and kind of draw a circle back behind you and then around to the other side. So I'm keeping my knees soft. And you can make this circle as big or small as you want to make it. You want to just see what feels good to your body, what helps to loosen some things up. Good. Let's go ahead and switch directions and go a few times in the other side. Good. 2 more. And you could even get a little creative. It doesn't have to just be a circle. You could make any kind of swirly movement that you want to make. All right. Now coming back up to center, I've got my feet a little bit apart. That might be hard to see in the screen, but I've got space between my feet. They're not together. They're about a hip's distance apart. All right. So now I'm going to do my hip shifts. And this actually involves one knee bending, one knee straightening, and I'm shifting my weight kind of back into that straight leg and into that hip, Okay, and then I'm going to switch it up. Bend the other knee, shift the weight back into the straight leg, hip, and just go back and forth. Again, this is just another really good one for loosening up the hips. And then we can even take this one a little bit further. We're going to hold one leg straight, one knee bent, and I'm going to turn towards the straight leg, okay? So I've got my right leg straight. I'm turning towards my right side, bringing my right hand either to the hip or up to the ceiling for a nice twisty stretch. And then unwind it and go the other way. So straightening that other knee, pushing down into the chair a little bit, turning. Your hand can be on your hip, arm can be up towards the ceiling or the sky if you might be outside doing this somewhere. And then bring it on back down. Let's do that one more time. So straighten one leg and turn towards that straight leg. Choose where you want that arm. No problem keeping it on your hip if it bothers that shoulder to raise it up that way. Now, as I stay here, I'm sinking a little bit of weight into my heel back there. Being careful not to hyperextend or overdo that knee straightening. And I feel a nice stretch in my hip. All right, now let's go the other way one more time. We'll hold it a little bit, straighten the leg and turn towards that straight leg. Choose where you want your arm. See if you can shift that weight, just a little sink into that back heel there. Good, and then we'll unwind it. Let's go ahead and stand all the way up for a moment. Just get off those hands. Here's another opportunity to roll the shoulders. I'm going to go ahead and circle out the wrists now too, since we've been there on hands and knees, sort of, or on the hands on the chair for a few moments. All right, now another place that tends to get tight on in our sitting and traveling is the fronts of the hips, okay? So let's see if we can turn our chair around, or you could do this at the wall. You could just walk right up to a wall and kind of use the wall to hold on to, okay? Either way. And maybe you don't even need to hold on to something. You could do this without anything to hold if you want. So we're going to step one leg back. We're taking just a long stance. We call this the warrior stance in yoga typically. All right, and really anchor that back heel. This has the added benefit of giving you a calf stretch right there. Then I want you to see if you can take that pelvis and drop your tail down a little bit and pull your belly up in front. All right, that pulling up of the belly is going to help us to stretch the front of the hip. Now, this is optional. You could come up off of those that back heel and bend your knee a little bit. Okay, now if that bothers your toes or your foot, you don't have to do that. But if you come up and drop that knee or bend that knee, you might have a little more stretch in the quad or the thigh. All right, let's switch sides. Just take your time, step that other leg back. You choose how long you want this stride to be. All right, once I get there with that front knee bent, I can push back into that heel, get a little stretch in the calf. And then again, I'm trying to take that pelvis and sort of tuck the tail a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. It'll just start to open up the front of that hip. See if that works for you. If you don't like the way the tuck feels, you can leave it out. All right, and then we've got that option to come up on that back toe or ball of the foot and bend that back knee a little bit more. Maybe see if that stretches down the thigh a bit. Good. And then bring it on up. Take a moment to roll the shoulders. Shake it out. Let's do that one more time. This time we're going to add some arms to it if you want. Okay, so we're back to our warrior stance. One leg back, little tuck of the tail, reach the belly up. Now, take the arm that's on the same side as your back leg and reach it up. That means you could use your other hand to continue to hold on to if you want. And then we can play around here with a little angle. So I'm reaching up, and then I'm going to take it over. I'm taking it sort of towards my window behind on this side of me. And maybe even angling it a little bit forward. So I've got kind of a diagonal. You get to play around and see what feels good to your body. It's nice to get this stretch into the side body. And then let's release it. And take it to the other side. All right, so we got that warrior stance. Push that leg back. Maybe get that little bit of a tilt or a tuck of the tail. And then remember, it's the arm that's on the same side as your back leg, okay? So reaching up with that arm, up, up, up. And maybe you want to angle it, kind of come over to the side a bit. You can play around, maybe come on a little forward angle. Keep breathing. See if you can feel the sensation of that stretch down the side body. Good. And then back to center and bring it in. All right, good job. Shake that out. Just take a notice of how you feel. Okay, now I'm going to use the wall for a couple of things here. This can be a great thing to do, again, when you get out of the car. You might use the car itself instead of a wall if you don't have a wall nearby. So see if you got a wall you can use. If you don't have a great wall, you could continue to use a countertop, a tabletop. All right, so hands are pressing into the wall, and I'm just pushing those hips back. Now, you could have a variety of shapes here. Maybe you don't feel comfortable coming quite so low, or that's too big of a stretch. You could keep the arms up higher. Knees can be soft. Just trying to get some traction on the spine. Now, so I'm going to walk it back down. You might be down low, almost getting that spine horizontal to the ground. So a nice push through the hands, back into the hips. And then lift up. Step one leg towards the wall. Get your balance. Bring those arms back. Pull those shoulder blades, those elbows back. Lift the chest up. And then hands back to that wall or that countertop. Step it back. Soften those knees. This kind of helps you get into position. Push back into the hips. Push into the hands. 2 to 3 big breaths. And then take that other leg forward. Just taking a nice generous step. It's sort of like our warrior stance once again. Lift up through the chest. Take your time, get your balance. Bring the arms back if you're comfortable letting go. And lift up through that chest. One more big breath in. And out. And then one more time. Hands on the wall. This is essentially a form of downward facing dog. Just using what we might have available when we're out and about or when we're on the road. It's not always easy or convenient to get down to the ground. All right, walk it in. Again, here's a nice opportunity to roll those shoulders out. All right, we're going to use one more thing on the wall. This is a great one for, again, the shoulders, the chest. If we've spent a lot of time sitting or driving, it's nice to open up that chest. So face your wall and take your hand out to the side, just one hand. Roll the shoulder back and then turn away from the wall. So I've got my hand on the wall behind me, and you might not turn real far. It might not take much, okay? Try to roll the shoulder back. Turn the body only as far as feels comfortable for you. And then maybe add a little turn of the head back and forth. You can turn it all the way to look at the wall or look at the arm and then turn it the other direction. Excellent. Now turn all the way back towards the wall. Drop that arm down and shake it out. Now, of course, we got to do the other side. So take your other hand out. Roll the shoulder back. Turn the body any amount. Now, as I stand here, I'm trying to keep good posture, right? I got my weight back in my heels. I'm standing up nice and tall. Got the crown of my head lifted. And then I might add this turn of the head back and forth. Good. And turn back to the wall. Drop that arm down. Shake it out. All right, great. Those are a few things that you could do at a wall. But remember, if you don't have a wall handy, almost just anything that you can put those hands on. You could do that arm stretch just on a doorway, a door frame, a pole, a car, vehicle. Okay. All right, let's come back to our chair. Show you a few more things that are great for your hips and your low back, even when you can't get down on the floor, or maybe even don't have a good room to stand up and bend over. Feet a little bit apart. Okay, sit up nice and tall and just gently fold forward. Now this might be enough. Some of us may want to stop right there and then bring it back up. Okay, so if this feels like enough movement for your body, then stick with this. If, however, when you fold forward, you feel pretty comfortable, you don't feel like, there's any difficulty putting those hands down to the ground, you can take it down, fold a little further, and then walk the hands up to the thighs to come back up. 2 more times. Fold forward, maybe stop here, maybe take it down to the floor. And then slowly back up. This time we'll stay a little longer. Okay, if you're not comfortable staying, then you come on back up. Good, and then bring it on back up tall, bring the legs back together. Now scoot to the front edge of your chair. This, again, is a good one to do almost anywhere, though you may have to get creative about what you reach for, what you grab onto, depending on what you're sitting on. So I'm going to take my hands back and see if I can grab hold of the chair. Okay, so I can grab hold of the sides of the back of the chair here, or I could grab hold of the seat of the chair down a little bit behind my hips. If there's nothing really to hold on to, maybe you put your fingertips on the chair seat right behind you. If that doesn't work, then go for the air out to the side, but somewhat back. Okay, so figure out where you can take those arms and then walk those shoulders back. You could even have a little bend to the elbows if that's more comfortable. And then just try to lift up into that chest. We're just opening up the chest, giving us a little back bend. Again, this is good counter to all the sitting. 2 more breaths. Good, and then release those arms. All right, we're gonna do a twist now. So sit up tall and turn to one side. Take the hand across the body in front to the opposite knee or leg. The arm behind you could be anywhere, down on the seat, up on the back, in the air, reaching. Never be forceful with these kind of twists. We want it to feel good. Maybe it gives you, a slight adjustment or a pop in your back, but you're not looking for that. You're not trying to force that to happen. All right, unwind that twist, come back to center. Let's do it the other way. Lift up tall and then turn, bring that hand across to the opposite leg. Just hold on gently there. Keep lifting up. 2 or 3 more breaths. And then back to center. Good. All right, we're going to finish with one for the hips, and then we'll do some of the calming practices for the stresses of travel. So bring one ankle up to the knee. If that doesn't work, if that's too high, hurts your knee, you can't get your leg up there, here's some tips. You can take the other leg longer, so straighten that leg, and then see, can you cross it maybe on the thigh or maybe below the knee, okay? And let that knee drop out. and then you might be able to lean in, okay? You can also prop up something if you've got, your suitcase there, okay? You could put your foot up on it. You could put your foot up on a stool or anything that was a little higher than the ground if you want to, all right? So this is helping us to stretch out those outer hips, those glutes that get so tight. Maybe leaning forward, that's optional. Just depends on your body and how this already feels for you. Good. Always want to hold these stretches a good 3 to 5 breaths. And you want to be purposeful, aware of your breaths. That helps your nervous system accept the stretch, accept the position that you're putting the body in. All right, let's switch it out to the other side. So all the way up to the knee, if that works for you, or straighten that leg out, cross it somewhere lower. Remember that you could use something on the ground to put that foot up on, to be another option between the floor and the knee. Sit up nice and tall. Leaning forward is optional. I don't really need to lean forward on this side because it's tighter for me. Sitting up tall is just plenty, so I'll stay here. But you could lean forward if you needed to for this side. Let's give it 2 to 3 more breaths. All right. All right, now just take a comfortable seat. Maybe use the back of the chair for some support. Let the hands drop into your laps. Take a deep breath in, full breath out. Now, often things happen when we're traveling that are beyond our control, right? The traffic jams, the delays, that sort of thing. So we can't change what's happening around us, but we can tap into our own breath and our own response and hopefully help us stay a little more calm. So I want you to take a deep breath in. And then when you exhale, I want you to go as slow as possible. Maybe even start counting that exhale. And then we'll try to put a count on the inhale as well. Try and inhale for 4 counts. And you can count faster or slower depending on your breath. And then try to exhale for 6 counts. It may take a few moments for you to get comfortable with that ratio. So give it some time. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Keep going. This breath technique is also great if you get nervous, say with flying or something like that. Concentrate on your breath. Inhale for 4, slow, steady exhale for 6. You could adjust that count. Maybe you're more comfortable with inhale for 3, exhale for 5. Okay, as long as the exhale is a little bit longer than the inhale. Let's do 3 more rounds of that. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Now just take note of how you feel after doing that simple breath ratio for a few moments. Hopefully it made you feel a little calmer, a little more settled, a little bit of peacefulness. Imagine if you did that for a full 2 minutes, how calm and just kind of accepting you would feel. All right, I hope those were some good things that you can maybe take with you on the road this summer. I appreciate you being with me. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks to AARP and Margie for kicking us off today.
Becca. Thank you, Becca. Great job. We're all ready for traveling now. We're ready to get on the road. Thank you so very much. Remember, everyone, please watch the video so you can see what other upcoming events that we have. Thank you.